Let me set the scene. You're on vacation. You finally made it to Super Nintendo Land, and you're enjoying your $32 cheeseburger when you see it. A toad straight up murks somebody. On sight. Dead. No one bats an eye or says anything. And it's a crime scene. Well, everybody, step back, let's make some room. Let the tape, that tape back there. Yeah, maybe don't celebrate that murder right behind me in front of the cops. But then the coop is responding kind. Not an eye for an eye, but one death for thousands. Toads are running for their lives, screaming, and wait, Luigi? Luigi! Luigi, no! So, as you probably know, Super Nintendo Land opened back in January of 2023, but this video is coming out in... Oh god, how much time did I spend making this goddamn video? I deserve this, Al. I earned it. It's all mine. Well, 2023 is in full effect, and one thing is for certain, the world is in an arms race. Russia versus Ukraine. Nepo babies versus Muppet babies, and Universal Studios and Disney. Like other conflicts from the late 80s, the theme park wars are heating up once again. If Disney pulls a knife, Universal draws a gun. If Universal builds Harry Potter Land, Disney builds Star Wars Land. And if Universal pays their workers a living wage, well, you know what Disney does? Well, Disney lets them have that round. But suddenly, Disney, the once and former king of themed entertainment, has found itself locked in a game of catch-up with the universally second-place theme park chain, who is now coming for the crown.
I want the throne. Y'all sitting up here comfortable.
We have entertained the charlatan for too long.
This year's escalation in the conflict is the long-awaited Super Nintendo World. Announced back in 2016, it opened first in Japan in 2021, and those lucky bastards never let us forget it. So while everyone in Japan was living their best lives, we in the States waited, and waited, and waited. But after several false starts and delays, it has finally arrived in the States and is now officially open to the public.
Yes! Hell yeah!
Cementing itself as the new mecca for Gen X and millennials who were raised by that beautiful gray and purple plastic piece of heaven.
Out of the way, you!
And wouldn't you know it, it's just like you remember. You just plug it in, turn it on, and oh my god! Getting away for a second about all the positive things the land does right. This land and its current popularity is an absolute nightmare. I've been going to Universal since before Harry Potter Land opened, and I have never seen it as busy as it is now. If you thought Harry Potter Land had fan engagement on lock and moved merch, wait till you see what Nintendo's been doing to this park. So perhaps if you're only visiting for the day and won't be coming back anytime soon, perhaps spring for the early entrance to the land. It's only $20, and it really does give you a leg up on experiencing the land in all its glory before it's overrun for the rest of the day. And believe me, this land can become absolutely infested. You see this? You see this right here? This footage is what the land looks like at park opening. At park opening. There are 3 lines here. Can you see them? Can you see where the 3 lines are here? Can you see the 3 separate lines going on right here, right around this area? If you choose not to spring for the early entrance, you better race to the back of the park the moment it opens. But I'll show you a shortcut. So right after you make it through theme park TSA, avoid this. Avoid this at all costs. This is a trap. Save your pictures for later in the day and go directly to the gate. And to get to Super Nintendo Land, you have to go all the way to the back of the park. And on your way down, be sure to pay tribute to the fallen.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Once you arrive at the entrance, note there is only one way in and one way out of Super Nintendo Land. But there are 3 ways to enter. Method number 1. If it's a holiday or a crazy busy weekend, Universal may have the land on a virtual line entrance only, which means you will need to log into the Universal app on your phone to secure an entrance time to the land, and they will scan your app to let you in. But if you're not there at park opening, they may be gone. But luckily, Universal doesn't really do this anymore. Method number 2. If it's a weekday or just a generally not busy day, you can often just walk right on in. All the lines will be waiting for you inside. That takes us to method number 3. If you're arriving at the beginning of the day or arriving on a busy day, you'll be diverted to this line off to the side of the Transformers The Ride building. This is the rarely used extended queue. But my favorite part is wondering if people who may have never attended Universal before are seeing this for the first time before entering Super Nintendo Land, wondering what they've just gotten themselves into. This character certainly does a number, setting a different level of expectation.
Fact is, we'll assign you wherever we feel like it. So if you're not up to the challenge, you better step out of line right now. Go ahead, don't be shy. Once trained, you will find yourself in life-threatening situations. Many of our operations require high-speed deployment through dangerous battle scenarios. Please don't come to me with your boo-hoo stories.
And once you get in the land, resist playing the games or going on the ride and make a beeline straight for the Toadstool Cafe. Trust me, the reservations on this thing are gone in a flash. And unlike the other attractions in the land, which have awful waits, but you can at least suffer through those lines to experience them, when Toadstool Cafe runs out of return times, which is usually by 12 noon, they are done for the day. You will not be experiencing this.
Nothing for you!
Even with Universal putting a cap on the amount of guests that can enter at one time, this land is still a headache. So if I were you, looking to experience this land to its fullest, I would upgrade your ticket for $20 and get the early access, or maybe just camp out the night before if you want to get a jump on the lines. Just sleep like right here. It's LA, so just put a tent right there, stake your claim, tell them Mario sent you. Shrek will be out in just a second to strike a deed for the land you now own. Now with that mess out of the way.
Here we go!
When you first walk into Super Nintendo World, ignore this cryptic serial killer note. We'll come back to that in a second. And take in that skyline. Hello, Mount Beanpole, you tease. Hello, vaguely Egyptian pyramids and your desert level off in the middle distance. Hello, ice level, just down the street because climate change. Hello, sentient cactus and various bad guys patrolling, looking for some tourists to kill. And Yoshi. They got Yoshi! The gang's all here. It's perfect. It's perfect! Well, okay, maybe if we just... Perfect. Now the land may appear small, but it makes up for size where it counts. In stark contrast to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is as massive as it is empty, Star Wars Land featured 2 rides, no shows, barely any characters, and one place to eat themed to a space shuttle gas station. The land feels dead, at least compared to the living, breathing world we were promised.
This is a living place, a place where your choices matter. If you bring back the ship all banged up, you might even end up on the list of a local bounty hunter. I hear that Harkos here is someone you particularly don't want to mess with. If your name ends up on his list, well, that might truly be a problem when you show up at the local cantina.
Super Nintendo World, on the other hand, has 1/8 the amount of space, but crams the same amount of attractions, same amount of restaurants, plus characters, and games all into this tiny, compact footprint? The land is also chock full of little secrets only the observant and diehard will care to find. It's basically the Game Boy Pocket of theme park lands. Speaking of games, one of the unique features of Super Nintendo World, like its namesake console, is you'll be able to compete and play against friends and strangers within the land. All you gotta do is buy a power-up band for $40! So I wasn't allowed to play without paying for an upcharge for the band. But if I'm being honest, I'm not sure how fun these games actually were.
Whoa!
For adults at least, for adults like me. You mostly wander the land searching for coins like a vagrant.
Y'all tell anybody I'll kill you!
Awkwardly fist-bumping blocks, hoping loose change falls out like a cheap piñata. Now, I hope you like this sound, because you are going to be hearing it. A lot. The main attractions are these mini-games that grant you keys. There are 4 possible games, and you need to earn at least 3 keys to progress to the final boss level of the land. Game number 1 is this Goomba treadmill thing, where you have to turn a crank faster than this little guy can run. Did I mention he has no legs?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Is this a hate crime?
Help me! Oh my god!
I mean, at the very least, it's a little ableist, right? Like, it's a little bit like I'm using my arms, which he doesn't have, to turn a crank to outrun his legs, which he doesn't have. I mean, we know this guy's a killing machine, but like,
Kill you!
come on, Universal. Do better. The next game is this one where this shell kind of just goes like back and forth, and you just do that at the right moment to make the shell hit the Koopa Troopa, and then done. Woo. Then there's this Piranha Plant game where you have to hit snooze on all these alarm clocks to keep this monster asleep so it doesn't wake up and eat you for a midnight snack. This game is easily the most fun, as it's the most active and visually appealing game in the park. You have this large Piranha Plant animatronic that looks genuinely impressive and creepy. It starts to bob and rise as the alarm clocks make noise.
Feed me Seymour.
Honestly, this is the only game that looks like it belongs in a theme park. Had the other games been at this level of fun and theming, I may have been convinced to splurge on the armband. Then there's this Thwomp Block game, which basically appears to be a glorified iPad matching game mounted on a wall. The last thing I'll say on these games is I wasn't a big fan of their integration into the land. I found it odd that Baby Bowser, who was like a C-tier Marvel character, the kind that would never get their own movie and is just showing up in all the team-up ones, he's the big bad guy for this thing. And he's the one who left that creepy serial killer note at the opening of the land that I pointed out earlier. The story they put together for him and why he's doing it, it's like the IRS is coming for his taxes or something, I don't know. It doesn't matter, it's not memorable or fun. Like these games. And I couldn't help but think, what a shame it is that Nintendo doesn't have some kind of franchise where friends play together and against one another, collecting coins and stars and, I don't know, even keys perhaps, in a festive and party-like atmosphere. That would have been so great if Nintendo had some sort of IP like that just lying around, waiting to attach to this. Oh well, cross-promotion swing, and a miss. Once you've completed 3 of those games, you're allowed past the bouncer into Baby Bowser's Sanctum, where you will team up with several other players to take on Baby Bowser in the ultimate challenge, playing a round of Xbox Connect.
Experiences that can't be done in any other medium or on any other console.
Now I find this funny because Microsoft couldn't get people to do this in the secrecy of their living rooms because of how dumb it looked and how unresponsive the tech was.
Can we go beyond the controller? Can we make you the controller?
Move this man!
And let's be real, most people didn't want to spend $150 on an add-on piece of hardware. Who knew all you had to do was charge $144 plus parking, then $43.80 for the game bands. Now multiply those figures if you happen to be some poor sap with kids and you got a recipe for the most expensive family game night of your life. I would actually laugh though if Nintendo was using a server room of old Connects to power this thing because they went over budget on the land or something. So they're just reusing existing technology from 2014. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because that's basically what this is. You think they would have built this game utilizing an updated version of, like, I don't know, the Wii and its famous hand controllers? Could you imagine a souped up theme park exclusive version of Wii technology? Oh well. Cross-promotion swing. And a miss. The big store in the land is the 1-Up Factory, where you can acquire any and all your Nintendo merch needs. And you know, I got myself some of that freshly stocked Yoshi fit. Definitely make a pit stop here if you want to run these streets repping your Mushroom Kingdom crew. Also, maybe be careful where you go after Universal if you're repping Mario in California. If you know, you know. I also noticed something odd while shopping. Did Universal have to place a special order for all the mannequins that are doing that gesture? Or are these power bands just bringing out the worst in the mannequins?
What the fuck?
It started off with smaller gatherings, but it didn't take a Detective Pikachu to notice that they were growing. Fans were so excited to get their hands on some power bands, nobody questioned what kind of power these bands were referring to. After you're done working up a sweat playing games and buying morally dubious merch, it's time to fuel up before hitting the main attraction. And that brings us to the Toadstool Cafe. The unique thing about this restaurant is how most of the dishes are mushroom-based.
Not cool!
Now, Nintendo Land really came to play when it came to food options. You got the Fire Flower Spaghetti. It claims it's spicy, but it's not. It's good, just not spicy. So for all you spice fiends out there like me, just lower your expectations or, you know, maybe bring a couple of your own fireballs if you know what I'm saying. But if you do want that spice,
spice. He knows about the spice.
Get the Bowser Fireball Challenge, a cartoonishly large meatball that looks like it's from a lost episode of Bowser vs. Food.
Now who's gonna stop me?
It's a lot of meatball. I really wish it came with some pasta instead of this Bowser-shaped puff pastry. And after you finish your meal, your plate has a little hidden surprise for you. I'm starting to think this guy's a serial killer. If you're looking for something smaller than Bowser's meat monstrosity, the mushroom soup and tomato soup are great snacks if you're hungry but don't want a full meal, or if you're looking for an appetizer before your main dish. Weirdly enough, this one is the mushroom soup and this one is the tomato, but the tomato is the only one that has a full mushroom in it. But it's done in this weird way where it looks like the tomato was put in your soup on accident. Truly top-notch presentation. Both soups are served in this neat bowl, very stylish. Resist the urge to steal one. So now these bowls are actually included in your purchase of the soups. But it raised the price by like 20 bucks, so the cost of a soup is now almost $30. Worst part of all is currently you don't have an option of getting a soup without buying the souvenir bowl. But hey, at least you get to carry this thing around the park now in a Happy Meal-like box. Very excited to lug this thing around from attraction to attraction. I'm sure this will fit in a locker or something. One thing you'll see a lot of in the land, or at least I have since it's opened, is a lot of cosplay, and the Mario Burger is in on the act, coming with its own hat and even mustache burned right into the bun. This burger can grow a better mustache than I can. The best meal, without a doubt, at this cafe though, is the Chef Toad Short Rib Special. It's a braised short rib with creamy goat cheese polenta and red wine reduction. It's perfection, you guys. I know it doesn't just leap through the screen with its deliciousness. It was not my #1 choice when I was picking things off the menu to try, because so many of the other plates looked visually more appetizing or interesting, but now having tried just about everything, I can tell you there is no contest. This short rib is incredible. Surprisingly juicy, the sauces go great with it, and it's filling but not insane. I'm looking at you, Bowser's meat monstrosity. While enjoying your food, there is another set of windows you can sit next to and watch the world of Super Nintendo Land go by while you eat. It's a charming and kind world full of simple pleasures and simpler geometric shapes. I couldn't imagine a more pleasant visual. Oh god. Oh geez, don't look at him. He's gonna try and clean the windows for money. Just don't look and he'll go away. Man, inflation has even hit the Mushroom Kingdom. After you finished your meal, dessert arrives in the form of Bowser and his Wagner troops carpet bombing the place. Meanwhile, Bowser's about to sick some chain chomps on a Toad like it's Django Unchained. The land boasts 4 separate boba-esque flavored sodas, 3 of which you can only get outside of the land for some reason, and the not-so-secret 4th soda is conveniently located at the aforementioned Toadstool Cafe. And for you guys, I risked diabetes and tried them all.
Yeah, I have something called triabetes now.
And to be honest, they're all surprisingly good. My 2 favorites being peach and the squash flavored one at the Toadstool Cafe, with Luigi Sour Apple being a strong 3rd contender. Overall, Super Nintendo Land is a pretty rousing success for Universal. And with this new addition, Universal Studios finally has their version of Disney's Toontown. And no, before you say anything, this is not Toontown. They finally have an immersive land that children and adults can enjoy equally. This land absolutely dazzles with exaggerated colors and features and music that transports you to another world. Rather than this. And weirdly enough, this is only their 2nd truly themed land in their theme park. At least the California one. So while Universal Studios Hollywood definitely has some work ahead of it, this is absolutely a shining beacon for what the future of Universal Studios Hollywood can be, and gives me great faith in the future as it potentially steps closer every day to beating Disney at their own game. What? Overall, I give Super Nintendo Land a... out of... So what do you think about Super Nintendo Land? Do you agree with me that it's a new age for Universal, or am I full of shit and the land is uninhabitably crowded? Hit that like button and let me know. Hit that subscribe button to disagree with me in the future. And as for a review of Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, well, it looks like this video is getting a bit long, so the review for that is in another castle. Hey, Okay, I said the thing, you guys. I said the thing. I said the